All right, guys, welcome to the Morning Skate. This is episode 192. I feel like every week we do this, and I say like whatever the new episode is, and it's kind of like, bro, can you believe we did 192 of these things? Like, honestly, that's so many.
How many do you think I've done?
I've done this. If this is 192, I think I've done 190 because like Claire did one and somebody else did one. Fuck, I think. I don't know. Oh, and Dale's done some. I don't know, dude. That's so many. I think that's the biggest commitment I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That like how many podcasts do you think you and Dale have done together over the time?
I don't know.
Because like I'd like to pride myself as like one of the podcasters. But I don't do the interview ones, and Dale does. So I'm just kind of interested at those numbers because I feel like you guys do a shit ton. You like went through like a phase.
Dude, you've done way more than Dale.
All right, thank you. I just need
dude, you've been on since the first one. Like we started doing interviews last year.
Yeah, I also used to do like sabbaticals for a while and stuff. You know,
yeah, you would turn your phone off quite often. So if we've done 192 of these, you've probably been on like 15 of them.
Yeah.
Still pretty crazy though. But hey, how's everything going? How's your week? You have a good
week? I figured it'd be a good point to reflect right now. A year ago, like basically like a couple days ago is when COVID started. And it was kind of crazy to think about that. And I'm going to wrap it in because first off, like looking back at when COVID first happened, crazy. I remember like the first day you like Rudy Gobert, you brought that up. That was a hilarious story. Cause I remember we were like hanging out like on FaceTime or something. And like, it was like, do you remember that? That was like kind of the first...
I think the Rangers were playing the Avalanche and it came out that he got COVID and like, we were all kind of like, like who knows? And then the next day it was shut down. It's funny that you bring that up because like, you know, Snapchat will like show you what you've posted to like a story over like the course of time. 1 year ago today was when me and DJ Zumi and Daddy Baseball, that was the night we went out and got fucked up and then went bowling. And then the next day, literally everything shut down. Fucking wild.
That's great. That is crazy to think about. I was just thinking back, like the first worst COVID moment I had was like the first time I had to go to the grocery store, and I got there at 7 a.m. and there was like a line around the block, and there was like so many people, and I just remember going through aisles and being like, "Oh shit, there's only like 7 DiGiorno pizzas left. Like, let me cop every single one." And to really wrap this up, we were playing Chell last night till 3 a.m. That's why Dale's not here. Usually we record Sunday mornings. We couldn't because we played Chell through daylight savings, which was depressing.
Yeah, and they need to fix that fucking game because we were playing people that we had no business to be playing. Like
it was tough, dude. Like I've always prided myself as a Chell player in it, and you guys too. You two especially, like you and Fever Boy Rex, who we were playing with back in the day, could hold their own on the sticks for sure. Like we used to battle like all day, every day. We could beat most people. And we lost 14-0 last night. That's how we ended.
Right. Yeah, but okay. I also want to say it was 14-0, but like for the last period, I think we didn't move our figures because the strategy there was I think it was like 7 or 8-0 going into the third, and it was like, well, if we don't move our players and they score goals and we don't press X, it's going to take forever to finish this game, and maybe they rage quit because of it. It didn't.
I actually think that was our best defensive period.
Yeah, and it didn't work. So they were able to skip all the replays and shit, and it got waxed, dude. It
was just tough to like come to that realization that I'm like, it was like 3 a.m. I was pushing 30. I woke up the next morning after staying up till 3 a.m. and I was like, oh my god, I lost 14-0.
Yeah,
in Chell last night. That's like. I'm going to say it. I used to look down on Dale because he would get whooped like 18-19-0 by the boys in Chell. But like now that I've been there, it's a tough spot.
It really is. And I mean, I slept in quite a bit today and I immediately turned on Last Chance U and I watched the basketball one, but I'm rewatching the Buddy Stevens era. Their second season when they go 11-1 and don't get a bowl game because the first game of the year they could only play rookies because whoever was on the team was involved in the fight the year before. So like that fight pretty much fucked them out of 2 national championships. But it was, I mean, dude, it's been a while since I've watched that show. If you guys have seen it, I would suggest rewatching it because it's unbelievable, dude.
Basketball one's good too.
Basketball one was really good. And we probably could have done this for 3 stars. And this has nothing to do with hockey. We're kind of like going off the rails here, but like 3 stars of last chance U coaches would be like a good 3 stars. So maybe we think about that at the end of the podcast or something like that, because the new coach was awesome. And I also don't know any of their names, but
I wish there was a JUCO program out there that could take me on and I could go back to junior college and like learn how to play Chell again.
Bro, I wish this was around back when they had JUCO hockey and they like did it at Hudson Valley. Like I can't, the shit that they would have saw, it would have been a way different program than what they had on. It was, I don't know, it was fucking wild.
I don't know though, because like visiting your teammates, and this is the last thing we can say on it, visiting your teammates, there's this scene where there's these 4 basketball players and they live in this small shack together and it's just destroyed. And you go into the bedroom and there's like 4 mattresses on the ground and they're playing video games together. And it's like, that's every JUCO house hockey house I ever walked into.
That is true. It probably, yeah, I don't know. The storylines would have been really funny. I like, what sucks about it, dude, is I definitely wouldn't even been one of the characters that they would like put up. I would have been like the punter on like fucking the football one. Like nobody knows who the punter is. Like I would have been just
did
like
that one scene.
Yeah, I did like one scene where, and the scene's probably like they're giving the press guide out and they zoom into my picture and it says James Conn's led his high school team last year in block shots, and then they zoom in on me and they're like, yeah, what happened? And I'm like, yeah, big role player.
Yeah, I still can't believe you referenced block shot champion. I don't even think we kept that stat, dude. Can you confirm that? Was that just a feel? Like, were you just confident enough that you thought you blocked enough shots to write that down? Or did you even believe it?
No, I believe it.
So that was it. It was just a gut feeling. That's strictly gut.
Yeah, and that tells you what type of hockey player I was like when I was 16 to 18 years old. Not much. Not much. Damn, dude. Now people probably think I suck, dude. 104 points in beer league a couple of years ago. Okay, moving on. NHL news. Fuck. NHL in the news time. The first story I think is one of the biggest stories in recent memory that I can think of. ESPN acquired the NHL rights for 7 years at a reported $2.8 million. There will be a second partner announced that will also have NHL rights. ESPN will get 4 of the next 7 Stanley Cups. Rumor has it NBC and Fox.
Let's break really quick. I'm going to stop you at each of these points. So
right, I'm good with it. Let's get into it.
So basically, I'm just curious. There's going to be a second partner? I think it's supposed to come out this week who the second franchise is. They basically wanted to give ESPN preferential treatment and be like, you get it first, and then we'll deal with like the low lives after. NBC already has coverage. Fox has never done hockey. What do you have on this?
Are you sure Fox has never done hockey?
I think they've done like all-star games. I'm probably wrong on that.
Dude, Fox has definitely done hockey because they, like in football, how they have like the robots. They definitely had like robot hockey players. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I just feel like robots are really
graphics. I'm not making that up, and I'm pretty sure Fox had the puck.
Fox wasn't the only sports network in the 90s to have access to robot graphics, bro.
You think no, dude, you can't just fucking steal robot graphics like that and get away with it. That had to have been Fox. ESPN wasn't doing robot graphics. We got to look that up. I think write this down somewhere. Because like I'm pretty sure robot graphics was Fox, and I'm pretty sure the glow puck was Fox.
Right. So
yeah, dude. Because Fox had like robot NASCAR pit crew members. It was Fox.
Yeah, it was 5 years. 5 years. It started in 94, 95. So I stand corrected. Woo! For some reason, I never even really never really registered with me that it was on Fox. The All-Star game sounded super familiar. Like I feel like the glowing puck, like the trace was definitely Fox.
Fox screams like NHL hits.
Yeah, it does, right? What you like. But do you just throw away NBC? Like part of me feels like NBC has a couple of guys who I still like. I don't know if they're gonna jump ship. Or are you sick of it?
I'm fucking out on NBC, dude. And NBC's, and I'm sure like ESPN and Fox are probably also going to cater to the new fan and stuff, but like NBC, I don't know. What's Pierre McGuire going to do? He's got to get hired somewhere, right? Eddie O, I would think. Gary Thorne said, this is huge. Gary Thorne said that he'd be interested in going back to ESPN. If Gary Thorne comes back to ESPN, he's immediately the best broadcaster in the game.
How did the Baltimore Orioles fire Gary Thorne?
I have no idea. And on top of that, like I was like when all this ESPN stuff was happening, I think RA from Spin Chicklets wrote like a blog about Gary Thorne. Like people were like sharing some of his goal calls. I'm not kidding you, dude. There would be teams that I had no interest in watching, and he made it seem like I needed to be fucking watching that game. Like the electricity, which is weird, like talking about like an announcer this way, but like he brought a completely different element to the game of hockey. Like I've been watching Rangers games, and like I love Sam Rose, and he's a legend. And I've never been a Joe McLeody guy, but like it's just kind of like I don't know. It's they call the game or whatever, but like when Gary Thorne's calling the game, dude, it feels like you're in a fucking movie. Does that make any sense?
He just has a voice. He just has that voice, and I think it is more of a baseball voice, but it crosses over so well in the hockey. He like takes you on a journey. It's kind of like Doc. Doc has like kind of a completely different sounding voice, but it's the same thing. It's the way he talks and maybe even like enunciates.
Yeah, it could be. I think some guys just have the ability to, like what you said, like kind of create that journey. It literally feels like you're in a movie watching that. Like when Ruslan Fedotenko scored in for the Lightning when they won the cup, dude. Like him screaming Fedotenko, Rusty Feds, like that got me going, dude. And he wasn't even on the Rangers then.
What if you don't want NBC, you're out on NBC. What guys do you hope get like brought over to ESPN or like the new network? Like to me, a couple of guys that come to mind. One is Brian Boucher. I like Brian Boucher.
I'm either or on Brian Boucher.
So who do you like?
To be honest, you don't like Eddie Olczyk.
Eddie Olczyk's. I know for a fact. I don't think Eddie Olczyk's gonna go over because I feel like Eddie Olczyk's gonna be like, fuck it, I'll do the Olympics, and then
he does Blackhawks games.
And he does like horse racing stuff for NBC too. You know what I mean? I feel like he's not going to leave NBC. So I think he's gone.
He's one of my favorites though. Like out of all those people that do like the NBC, him and Keith Jones, I feel like they're not supposed to be like the star of the show, but like I appreciate what they bring to the broadcast more than any of the other people.
Yeah, you know who else? I think Patrick Sharp's hot enough to be on ESPN. Where like Patrick Sharp would do if Patrick Sharp went over to ESPN. I feel like they would have him do like Sports Center hits all the time. Do you know what I mean? Because people like looking at him.
Bro, if they were fucking smart, what they would do is they would put a giant bag of money in front of Paul Bissonnette and be like, here you go, dude. Like Paul, we don't talk about Spin Chicklets, obviously, because like they're a podcast, but like we both listen to it. I appreciate everything that they bring to the table, all of that shit. Like they're fucking legit, dude. Like I love listening to them. But like Paul Bissonnette, man, over the last like however many years, he's kind of become the voice of like new age hockey, right? Like because before Spin Chicklets and like podcast, like there was no real voice to it. And Biz, like, dude, he can relate to people. He's funny, but he doesn't really cross the fucking line. If I was ESPN, I would get Paul Bissonnette on that fucking thing yesterday and watch the game fucking explode.
Yeah,
so, but I think he can do that. I think that if they were to do that, the game would grow a lot faster than whoever they're going to bring over.
Yeah, I guess. I hope it doesn't happen, though, because I kind of like how – I just like what Paul Bissonnette does now. So
because he's, like, real and authentic, and, like, he might have to, like, dial some of that shit back.
Yeah, that, and I just don't want to lose, like, the other stuff he does. I feel like he just, like – I like that. Like, for me, like, Paul Bissonnette, I like that he's, like, the radio guy for the Coyotes. Like, I just feel like that just kind of, like, adds to who he is as a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I like that. And, like, if you go to the ESPN, like, priorities and stuff, I don't know. Moving on.
You know what I thought was really cool, though, dude? Did you? I think I sent it to you, or maybe you saw it, too, the Stephen A. Smith on ESPN talking about hockey and shit like that.
Yeah,
dude, like, okay, so I don't really watch any other sports besides hockey. Like, I'll turn on a Yankee game. I don't really watch ESPN anymore. When I think of Stephen A. Smith, I think football and basketball, right? And I know, like, his antics and how he can get people wild up and shit. And, like, I didn't really know much about him, but I thought it was fucking awesome that, like, I don't know if ESPN told him to do it or if, like, that was his idea, but, like, him just being like, okay, this is what I know about hockey, not much, but, like, I'm fucking ready for it. And I think that's going to be really fun. Like, if you can bring Stephen A. Smith, who I'm assuming doesn't know anything about the game because that's what he just told us, and you can kind of turn him into, like, a hockey fanboy, like, that would be huge for the game, too.
Yeah, and I think too, like, the best part about Stephen A. is, you know, if ESPN's telling him he has to talk about hockey every now and then, all he knows is hot takes. Like, he just wants to get some people going, and he's going to have this uninformed, crazy take probably right out of the gates that's going to get shit stirred up. So I'm excited for that because I feel like hockey Twitter and hockey Reddit is going to hate Stephen A. Smith. Oh, yeah. And it's going to be exciting. I need a villain. So villains. I said this name quickly before. Pierre Maguire. What happens to Pierre in between the glass? Like, is hockey in America? I really want to ask this question. Is hockey in America the same without Pierre between the glass? Love him or hate him, it's a staple.
No. And I completely understand why Pierre McGuire could be annoying. Like, watching him call a Pittsburgh Penguins game is the worst thing in the world. And it's slowly kind of doing that with Adam Fox with the Rangers. But guys, I'm going to tell you this, and this is a fucking fact. I don't think that there's a human being on planet Earth that loves and appreciates the game of hockey more than Pierre McGuire. Think about all the fucking time that guy's put into like study where Ryan Callahan played in 8th grade, and like just like random ass fucking facts about Pete. Like, dude, he was the last time they were playing the Rangers, dude. Like, he was just talking fucking random shit about random ass people, but like the facts were like, I was like, holy fuck, like how did he know that? Again, I know he can be annoying, but like the guy fucking loves hockey. You can never ever doubt that about him.
I actually do want to put, I hate some of his opinions, but what pisses me off sometimes is when people get on him for like knowing those crazy stats. Like it's cool to like make fun of them, dude, but they're sick. Like I love the stats. Like it would be cool. I don't know if you remember the ESPN show Stump the Schwab, but if they did like a trivia show with Pierre, incredible, right? And like someone like me, like when I watch a hockey game, I almost always have hockey DB or elite prospects open, and like when I see a player I don't know, like I look at it, and like to me, Pierre, you said it before, you don't want ESPN just to cater to new fans 100%. Like they have to have stuff for like the people who've watched forever. And to me, like people should fucking appreciate some of the information that Pierre spews, even if he's a weasel.
Bro, Stump Pierre is an all-time idea, because I think people would watch it because they don't like him. They'd want to see him lose.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. There'd be incentive. Like people would probably come in red hot. Maybe Catherine Tappan can come over and host it. I like Tappan. I'll throw that one out there. I think she's a great host. Like I don't think there's a better one in the game in North America than Catherine Tappan.
Yeah, no, Catherine Tappan. Although, dude, I have shown a special eye to Jackie Redmond. She does the NHL Tonight. I did message her. I'm going to try to get her on the pod. Fucking, she's the best. But I don't, dude, it's going to be really weird. Like, do you bring over Liam McHugh, dude? Like, he didn't do anything wrong, but like, I feel like there's no way.
Well, I feel like ESPN can just fill that role. You know what I mean?
Like with like fucking Robert Flores' like nephew.
What'll be interesting, and I just looked this up too because I didn't think about this, like Darren Drager and Bob McKenzie are the two Canadian guys that are under contract with NBC. Like they did hits for them. So like if I'm ESPN, like I know Bobby Mack's like semi-retired, but I feel like he still does some hits or some info. I'd love for him to get involved.
That'd be sick. It's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see who they really give the reins to. Like, since hockey's been away, there's really only been three people at ESPN that I know appreciate hockey. One's John Butcher-Ross, one's Linda Cohn, and one's Barry Melrose, but you don't really see him often unless there's college hockey being played. It's going to be like, I don't know. It's going to be weird. I guess my question would be is like, what if they bring somebody in specifically for hockey and they make that the hockey guy? Like, do you think that those three would be like, fuck off? Like we've been doing it for the last 10 years when nobody fucking gave a shit about this.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I thought. Do you remember when Tirico started calling a couple of games for a little bit? Like,
I thought he did
good.
I thought he did pretty good. Last time I listened to him, I didn't think it was that great. But when he first started, was it last year? I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, and like he was not a hockey guy, so I feel like ESPN might go that way too because they have so many people. And I feel like ESPN's been like laying people off the last couple of years. Like I don't know how many hires they're gonna make.
Dude, I don't even know who works. Like, dude, I literally don't watch SportsCenter. Like growing up, that's all I watched because like I loved baseball and shit. But now, like, I don't know. Like, I don't even remember like half their names. Wait, Levy's still probably there. I would think.
Yeah, Levy's there. The only thing I really watch is SVP SportsCenter. I'll watch that sometimes because I think
he's funny.
Yeah, he's good.
And there was one skit that he did where he pretty much talked about how like everybody in the world is going so soft and it's fucking ridiculous. I love that one. Yeah,
that's a great one. I don't. Do you have anything else on that?
That's what I got, dude.
All right, so ESPN Plus and Hulu Live subscribers will have access to 75 exclusive regular season games. 25 regular season games will be shown on ABC or ESPN. And then, in addition, more than 1,000 games previously under the NHL.TV package will be available on ESPN Plus. So it seems like if you get ESPN Plus, you get every single game, which means I'm going to get ESPN Plus. And that kind of works out because we've talked about, like, how hard it is to stream if you don't want cable and like to get every game you possibly want.
Yeah.
But my experience with ESPN Plus is it sucks. Like the stream sucks. And like I'm not pumped about that. Like
this might be a really stupid question. Is ESPN Plus only online?
No, there's like an app. There's an app you can go
like
on.
Yeah, but like if I have DirecTV, I don't have the channel ESPN Plus.
No, it's not. It's a streaming service.
Oh, that's annoying as shit, dude. Oh man.
Oh, why? Because you wanted to buy. What do you buy? You don't buy the package though. Anyway, because
I have Center Ice, but like if there was a channel that was called ESPN Plus where they had all these games on, I would make sure that I had it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I mean, I don't know how much ESPN Plus is either. I just thought that was interesting. If that's actually how they do it and it works out, I'm all for it. I'm just scared about ESPN Plus. I feel like the only time I've ever used it usually is for like when I'm with people who are like running fights like UFC. Right. And it always seems like there's some sort of issue going on.
Always, dude. And honestly, I'd probably get Hulu Live.
Yeah, I know. It's just getting suckered into more, I guess. But from your perspective, as someone who lives in their own network anyway, it doesn't really affect you at all. If anything, it sounds like just more games on TV.
I am the network. Yeah. All right, that's ESPN. That's 20 minutes of ESPN. Moving on. Patrick Kane played 1,000 games. Just want to kind of give you his stats. Well, he's played 1,002 games right now. 400 goals, 663 assists for 1,063 points. I think he's going to go down as the best American player of all time until Austin Matthews finishes his career. But they made him do this video where he counted to 1,000, and I thought it was hilarious because it's like the most goofy thing ever. And I was just like wondering what they had to do to convince Patrick Kane to like do this, because like that takes a lot of time to count to 1,000.
Yeah. I don't have to pump his tires too much. I think we said this like 3 podcasts ago that we thought he was the best American to ever play. That video is crazy. We tried to do the math on it, and I don't even know if this math is right. Ked was like, Ked, what was your quote? You didn't think that he literally counted to 1,000, because I watched the video. It took 58 minutes. There's 3,004.
58 minutes to count to 1,000. And this is where I get confused by it, because like that, you didn't make that up. The video is 58 minutes. How does it take you more than a second to say 1, 2, 3? Like each number should be 1 second. So why isn't it 1,000 seconds?
But 965, that could maybe be 1.2. You got to take breaks in there. That's 58 minutes straight of counting. It looked like he was going a number every 3.5 seconds. That was the clip he was at. I think that's a steady pace. Got it in under a minute. I think that would ultimately be the goal.
Every 3.5 seconds, he said a number. I feel like that's forever.
But it was calm. It was tranquil.
It was tranquil. It was really calm.
You know what I mean? That was the vibe. I feel like, how long do you think it would take you to say 1,000?
I would think 1,000 seconds. I would have bet my life on it.
There's no way say 987, 988. That's like more than a second.
997. That's 1 second. 998. That's another second. But also, like, I'd have to be super dialed in to do it. Like, I don't know if I could go. I don't think I could count to 1,000 seconds without taking a break and being like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah. All right. So right now you're gonna count. When I say go, you're gonna count from 990 to 1,000. I'm gonna time it. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
990, 991, 992, 993, 994, 995, 996, 997, 998, 999, 1,000.
All right, so that took 13.89 seconds.
Damn,
so
okay.
But still, I mean, at that point, you're saying that you would finish it if you went on that rate the whole time.
I know. I was at a serious clip right there. I don't know.
Yeah,
if that.
Is that sustainable?
No.
All right, so that answers that question. The one other thing I wanted to bring up, I just thought it was cool because I feel like it coincides because Patrick Kane's been so huge in hockey. Earlier in the week, it was 8 of 10 of the top goal scorers in the NHL were Americans: Matthews, DeBrincat, Kreider, Vincent Trocheck, there you go. Besser, Pavelski, Pacioretty, Tuck. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know why I couldn't say Trocheck. I feel like I was reading it, but I kept wanting to say Konechny, and I was like, no, Ryan, like that's Vincent Trocheck.
I keep seeing that Vincent Trocheck's like trying to be a DJ. He came on the pod once.
That's good. I mean, not great because we know Ryan Spooner, former Bruin, Ranger, Oiler. He tried to become a DJ.
Because of Zibanejad?
Yeah, he went out and then he fizzled out. Zibanejad scored 50 goals. and now the DJing caught up to him. So I don't think that's sustainable.
There was when the Rangers got eliminated from one of the playoff series, Forever Blue Shirts Anthony, he came on our podcast a long time ago. He pretty much tweeted out like, "Hey Mika, you should probably spend less time on the DJ turntables and more time focusing on hockey." And whenever Mika, and like a lot of people don't really like, not a lot of people, like obviously like there's both sides of the people, and like there's some people who like and some people that don't. The people that don't, whenever like something happens with Mika Zibanejad, they always mention the fact that he said that. So be careful when you said that, dude.
Fair enough, dude. That's all I have on that. Good luck to the DJing career of Trocheck.
All right, Kirill, is it Kaprizov or Kaprizov?
I don't think it matters either way.
Okay, Kirill the Thrill gets his first hat trick. He has 10 goals, 14 assists right now. He's playing with Zuccarello. Zuccarello's just feeding him the puck. I'm so jealous that the Wild have a young electric prospect that Zook could have played with, and Zuccarello never once had that with New York, but still led their team in points and only got traded for a second-round pick. I'm still bitter about that. I mean, this kid, he's kind of made Minnesota Wild not Minnesota Wild.
Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. He's electric. I don't have too much on it because we talked about this guy last week too. I just thought it was notable. But he's leading the Wild in points. He's leading all rookies in points, and he's definitely going to be an unbelievable NHL player, like borderline elite. Like I don't know. It's hard to say, right? But I just want people to remember he is 23 though, right? Like
there's a lot of butthurt people out there right now because he's a rookie and he's played so many KHL games and stuff. There's a lot of people that are actually pissed about that. Oh,
well, at the same time though, he has to win Calder. Like there's no chance. Stutzel's in second in scoring. And he's earned it. And you know what I mean? Like you can't, I was just making that point. Like he's not 18. So like, it's unbelievable what he's doing, but it makes a little more sense that at his skill level, he was able to come
100%, dude. And like, I don't think rookie is how old you are. I think rookies from the moment you start playing in the National Hockey League, right? And like, that's what it is. And he's fucking ripping it up, dude. He's so good. And just like, he gets the puck. He kind of has that. Remember when Ilya Kovalchuk was nasty with like the Thrashers and shit? And whenever he'd get the puck, you'd kind of clench up and you're like, oh my God, he's going to score. And you would literally be like that until he didn't have the puck. And then you'd be like, okay, thank God. He kind of has that to him. And like, that's a special trait. So shout out to him. We have a quick Sabre. Well, not so quick. Quick Sabres update. They've sold about half of their 25% capacity tickets to season ticket holders, half of them. And now they're available to general public for first home games against the Bruins on the 20th.
I just wanted to point this out because that shows how sick of all of this Buffalo is. Because I lived in Buffalo. I've talked about it a bunch. There's two things I know. They love hockey, and they seem like just the type of fan base that would jump all over this. So it kind of goes to show no one gives a shit. That's sad.
Yeah, it is. But that's what happens when your team plays like that.
Yeah. But I was thinking about it. If there's any fans in the Northeast that really want to see their team play this year, it looks like Buffalo might be the best shot. Probably hop on a cheap flight.
Yeah, dude, you probably get cheap tickets too and fucking just crush chicken wings and go to Niagara Falls. A beautiful little trip. Jack Eichel's out with an undisclosed neck injury, no real timeline. There was a report that he was playing with a cracked rib before training camp started. I don't know if this – I mean, I'm assuming this probably elongates the timeline to Jack Eichel becoming a New York Ranger. But, I mean, it was pretty obvious he had an undisclosed neck injury because I remember what game were they on? Like, they were on national TV and they got shit pumped. Who were they playing? It wasn't that long ago. But Eichel came back to the bench and, like, the trainer came over and, like, touched his neck and Eichel, like, fucking freaked out on him. And it was like, okay, well, his neck hurts. And then, like, 2 games later, it's like he's out with a neck injury. So I kind of saw that one coming. But my question for you is, when's Jack Eichel going to be a New York Ranger?
I don't want to actually answer that question, to be honest with you. I don't have time for this Rangers get every player ever talk.
Yeah.
According to you too, I don't know if you want to get into this. You don't think the Rangers would have to give up Lafreniere or Capo to get Eichel. I strongly disagree on that.
All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. The only thing I was going to say on this, it's like, it's so hard as a fan. Like, I always have to curb like my initial thoughts on a player because
we have no idea.
Yeah, because when the neck injury officially first came out, it was like, oh boy, like, is this real or is this like he doesn't want to play? Like, he's frustrated, like he's the captain, like things have never gone his way. And then you hear that he's supposedly been playing with a cracked rib all season. Like that's kind of
tough.
nails. Like, he didn't
24-year-old
have to
first
do
line
that.
center. Fuck yeah, dude. Playing for a team that is not even going to sniff the playoffs.
Terrible. And he did that for that team. So it's like, I'm trying not to jump to conclusions, but it's just a weird situation.
What's
in the back
the
of your
word
head,
that comes
like,
to mind when you think of that?
what do you mean?
It's leadership, dude.
I guess
that's leadership, dude. Like that guy does not need to be playing hockey with a cracked rib. They're not going to make the playoffs, and he's getting paid anyway.
Yeah, it'll be exciting when the Rangers give up the whole farm for Jack Eichel. I can't wait.
Or when the Rangers don't really give up that much, and you guys are stuck with another Boston boy that'd rather play in New York. Crazy.
And then right, so rumors come out. We talked about this guy after USA won World Juniors. Was Nate Lehman, who's the Providence coach. He won a national championship at Union and Providence. I said he's the future of USA hockey, and now it sounds like the Sabres might try to ruin him. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this? Like Lehman,
you nailed it, Lehman, dude, because you mentioned this a long time ago. That like this is a guy that like is getting a ton of like exposure as like a coach, right? And then what do you know? Here it is. For the shit that you've told me about this guy, it sounds like this is the guy that the Buffalo Sabres would like need. But you're right. Like they're only going to ruin him. So
yeah. And like David Quinn, it's still up in the air if he's going to actually work out or not. Remember when Hackstall came to the Flyers from North Dakota and he was like the prodigy coach?
Yeah.
College hockey to NHL doesn't always translate and work out. And like some part of me wonders, like Nate Lehman, like there's a difference. It's like in the NFL and college football too. Like college coaches are like good recruiters. Like, you know what I mean? Like they teach lessons and shit. Like they just like get talent and that's why they're good. And then the NHL, you're kind of dealt the talent you're given. Two completely different circumstances.
Yeah, I don't see Buddy Stevens coaching the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. So and like if you're Nate Lehman, this is you. You've worked your whole life. You finally have a chance to coach in the NHL.
Yeah. You have to. Because you want to know what? Like, what if he does turn around Buffalo? You know what I mean? Like and I feel like all coaches are like this. Like, I feel like coaches like challenges like that because if you can fix that, dude, you're a fucking genius.
I agree with that, but I also feel like what if he waits 1 or 2 more years, right, and then he gets like a job offer from like a real franchise?
I don't know, man. Or he waits 1 and 2 more years, and the NHL just does the same thing of hiring the same guys over and over and over again.
Yeah, and then the other rumor I saw too, and this is the complete opposite. Steve Ott. I think the fans in Buffalo want Steve Ott to be the next coach. I think he's been working with the Blues.
Bro, that would be the most Buffalo Sabres thing of all time.
I mean, if Steve Ott though, I mean, you bring in Patrick Coletta, Andrew Peters, maybe have him in player development, like really just kind of get a.
I tell you what, dude, Steve Ott might prove me wrong. I think it'd be an absolute nightmare if he coached the Sabres, but I will say this: that team would fucking compete. Like they would. I don't think there'd be any nights off.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, like I will contest with anyone. The Steve Ott, Sean Avery, Dallas Stars were the most annoying team, arguably in like recent NHL history.
100%. But like, can you imagine if you were a fan of the Stars during that time? How much fun that was probably like watching that. Yeah, like that one fight against the Bruins was all time with like Lucic trying to get after Avery and like. Dude, Sean Avery, man, what a fucking player. They don't make Sean Avery's.
And I say this as like a complete compliment to Steve Ott. Like people act like Brad Marchand's like a rat. Like Steve Ott was next level, like annoying. Like
he was annoying for sure. He fucking killed Zuccarello in a game, Rangers Canadiens in the playoffs. And if like Zuccarello's my size and Steve Ott's like 6'3" and fucking murdered him. And it was like, I guess you play hard and shit like that, but I feel like the big guys probably like you don't see Zdeno Chara taking a fucking run at like Alex DeBrincat. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like you kind of have that respect that you don't want to kill them, and like he just didn't. But at the same time, it's a guy you want on your team.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Apparently he's big into power. He was involved in boat racing, so he's a big boat guy too. Apparently, before he played in the NHL, he raced some boats, so that's cool. Steve Ott.
Damn, dude, that's kind of sick, dude. Moving on. Clarkson's men's hockey season was canceled after the team threw a party breaking the school rules. I have a couple things on this. I think the first thing is you're an idiot if you don't think all the other teams aren't doing this. Clarkson just got caught. Clarkson would have been one of the last teams that I would have thought that would have gotten caught.
But here's my perspective. Like, we're upstate New York guys. You ever been to Potsdam, New York?
Yeah.
What else is a college hockey team going to be doing in Potsdam, New York? They're probably going to be drinking beers. And when college kids drink beers, they probably make poor choices. It just sucks because, like, they didn't follow the rules. And, like, with COVID, like, I know college athletes have been, like, going through a lot. So when one team slips up, it's kind of like, well, you fucked up. Like, you did it. Like, I get that perspective. And then it's also like they're 20-year-olds who made a poor choice. Like, I'm telling you, in like Potsdam, New York, I played in a hockey tournament there once, and I'll never forget it because I knew I was in for a great hotel stay when we got to the hotel, and the people at the front desk were like, they opened a curtain behind the front desk and they were living behind the front desk. And I was like, where am I?
Potsdam, New York.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know some alumni, Clarkson alumni. Do you have any thoughts?
I talked to him about it today. He kind of said the same thing. Like, everybody's doing it. They just got caught. It is what it is. I don't know if people are mad at Clarkson, but like, if you're Clarkson, you have to do that. You can't just fucking let that slip. You know what I mean? Like, you have to bring down the hammer and like.
Yeah, I agree.
And I know some people don't think COVID's serious. Some people do, but like, at the end of the day, we're living in a world that wasn't the same world we were living in 2 years ago. And for me, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I mean, I don't know. It sucks. It definitely, I mean, think about the seniors on that team. Like, how much that fucking sucks for them. Like, I don't know. Yeah. They just got caught, dude. That's the thing. That's 101, bro. That's 101 of life. Don't get caught.
What's next?
That's my next tattoo. Jordan Binnington contract, 6 years, $36 million. He started 100 games in 3 years with the Blues, 63 wins, 915 save percentage, 2.4 goals against, and he won a cup. Saw a lot of people not liking this deal, which I thought was insane because Binnington's been what the St. Louis Blues have needed for years. And on top of that, like, he makes less money than Murray does in Ottawa, and that guy is not worth that. So what do you have on this?
Yeah, so I agree. I think it's a fair deal. I don't know. There's something
deal for a goalie. Wasn't Hank making like fucking 8 or 9 mil?
Yeah, but Hank was a better goalie. Like, you just read his stats. He won a cup. Like, Binnington is a very good goalie. He's not elite. Like, 6 years, $36 million. To me, that's like such a fair value. And
yeah,
my issue with it is what Binnington's quote was: being on a competitive team was something that matters to me. I'm not looking to kind of crush the bank. It's not all about money to me. At the end of the day, what you look back on and feel in your heart is the memories made and being there for your teammates. Bro, you just made $36 million. It's not like you took a hometown discount for the squad. You got fair market value, and you're over here lecturing it's not about the money, bro. 36 mil, give me a couple of that if it's all about the team.
Yeah, that's kind of like a very arrogant thing to say.
Yeah, dude. Like, you just signed a good deal. Like, it was people who think that's an overpayment are an idiot, but like, get off your fucking high horse, Binnington.
Yeah, man. That's mad funny that people are pissed that he's making that much, and he came out and he pretty much saying he's pissed that he's only making that much. Yeah. Unreal. That's a fucking roller coaster. Scott Sabrin. We talked about him last year. This is a guy that Austin Matthews kind of clowned on when he like looked at the back of his jersey. Everybody thought it was really cool. You remember that week of last year? His first shift at AHL this year, he runs the Rockets goalie Kade Primo. Pretty sure son of Wayne Primo. Yes. One of their better players steps in.
Keith Primo.
Didn't I say that?
What you said, Wayne. There's two of them.
Oh, my bad. One of their better players steps in, and then pretty much just takes a ton of punches to the face. And the refs come over and break it up, and the guy who's like the better player is like, "Why did you just do that?" And Sabrin's like, "Yeah, fuck you, dude." Anyway, I didn't know about this. Immediately called up to the NHL taxi squad after the game. I fucking love that, dude. Like, this might be one of the coolest things that the Leafs have ever done.
Yeah, I like that too. I think he might have just been down there to condition. He's going to come up anyway. I don't know if that's true. But I thought it was funny. He got sent right back up. And I just wanted to write it in the topics because such a great shift. Like, you have to watch it. Gets the puck, skates end to end, runs the goalie. Like you said, this Swedish prospect comes up to him, like, says some words. And and Sabrin just drops the glove and starts.
That guy not for 1 second thought he was going to get in the fight there.
Not at all. And like I love that response. Like I just thought that was so funny. Like because I'm sure Sabrin was like, "Oh man, I ran the goalie. They're probably going to want to fight me." So he assumed this guy was going to drop the gloves. It's just like it just showed like current day players versus kind of like the older school veteran.
That's exactly what it was.
I love it. I mean, make your mark on the AHL, Scott Sabrin.
Yeah, no, and you want to know what, dude? Like, again, this is one of the cooler things that the Maple Leafs have done in the last however many years. So, here's one: is boring Sean Monahan the most under the radar player in the NHL? First player from the 2013 draft class to score 200 goals. McKinnon has 196. Barkov has 164. How is that?
Yeah, so I looked it up. Kind of crazy. Right? Like there used to be that boring Sean Monahan Twitter account, like just like a quiet dude. He's been in the league since he's 18. He scored 20 goals every single year. He like never really eclipses 30, maybe a couple of times. But he always scores 20 goals. He's always there. McKinnon kind of had ups and downs at first before I think he realized
he had a real bad year earlier in his. He had a bad year earlier in his career.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. To me, I just wanted to point out because no one talks about Sean Monahan, and I think it's almost like the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins effect, where it's like Western Canada, the Oilers have a couple stars, like the Flames, people think Gaudreau right off the bat, but Monahan's always been right there.
It's an interesting stat, dude. I never in my life would have guessed that.
Do you think you can just give me a yes or no, do you think too many people say Alex Barkov's the most underrated player in the league?
Yeah, dude. But that's what happens. If you're the most underrated player in the league, everybody starts talking about it, and then it gets annoying that that's the case.
Yeah, Louis Eriksson was the most underrated player in the league, and then the
same thing with Patrice Bergeron, dude. I feel like that's another like Patrice Bergeron's so underrated. No, he's not, dude. Like I think at this point, everybady's talking about how underrated he is. That everybody knows how special he is.
Throw another name in there. Matt Barzal, I think, is at that point too. It's like Matt Barzal is really good. No one underrates him. Everyone knows he's one of the most electric players in the league.
Yeah, I wonder who next week we should come back with our most underrated player in the NHL. I already have mine, Zuccarello. It's not even close.
Really?
Yeah, dude, he's so fucking good. See, the moment you put him with somebody who can score goals, he has over a point per game. Like, he played on a Rangers team that they were supposed to have offense, but Rick Nash just fucking, he got to New York and forgot how to score. But don't worry, he did all the little things. Fucking drives me nuts, dude. That drives me nuts. I would love to, like, replay some of our old podcasts when Rick Nash was on the Rangers. I probably just fucking went off on that guy. Curse of EODubbz. EODubbz was on last week, talked about the Islanders. Shout out to him. He's doing great shit for us. We appreciate you, Dubsy. Anders Lee is now on the long-term injured reserve. He won't be back during the regular season. That's the thing.
That's what's Arthur, the Islanders writer?
Holy shit, dude. I didn't know it was that bad. Fuck.
So that's
we were literally talking about Anders Lee. Like, that was what most of last week's podcast was about, how like Anders Lee scored. Wow.
Yeah, and just how great of a player he is and like a leader. And we talked about how like he was kind of like the anti-Tavares and really like a huge part of the identity. So that sucks. And then to really put down this curse, I kind of talked shit about Bellows last week. Kiefer Bellows. We talked about his dad, that video. Against the Devils, he scored like 2 goals in 3 minutes, tied it, and won it. And I think he's replacing Lee on the top line, I believe. And the other guy who scored in that game was Wahlstrom. So if the young guys score for the Islanders, who cares, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the Islanders – you look at the Islanders, right? They kind of had like a mini rebuild without saying that they had a mini rebuild. Like, look at all these young kids coming up here and like fucking producing for these guys.
Shout out Gart Snow. And then I forgot what I was going to say. We can move on.
Well, let's just go to the Rangers and Bruins, dude. The last 2 games that the Rangers played were my least favorite 2 games of the year. They got shit pumped really bad by the Bruins. I forget we got shut out 4-0. Then did we shut you out 4-0?
Yeah, that's basically like the Bruins Rangers games this year went from like heated rivalries to just like teams blowing each other out.
So fucking stupid. It was so much more fun. Like that 1-0 game that you guys won was way more fun than either of these games.
Yeah, dude, I honestly don't have a ton on it. Like the one thing, I think you wrote something down, but Lemieux Frederick at the end of the second game when the Rangers are winning, Lemieux like hit Frederick into the bench. I just wanted to come out and say, like, I'm not a complete homer. Like, it really wasn't that dirty. Like, I've seen Bruins do that to guys all the time. People were calling for suspensions.
Of course they were, dude. They've never played before.
Well, it's like, I don't know. Like you said, you made a good point. Like the door, like kind of was closed. It was kind of open. Like
Lemieux had no angle on. If you watch Lemieux go towards him, he had no angle to figure out if that door was open or closed. I'm sure he probably was hoping that it was opened, but also it wasn't like he fucking pile drived him into the fucking thing. Like he could have blown him up there. Like if that was open and he really wanted to hurt, he could have hurt him very seriously if he wanted to.
That was the classic, and you see it almost like every other shift in the NHL. Two teams are both changing lines, and two forwards come together and like shove each other. Happens like every shift.
Dude, it pisses me off. There's like little plays in the game that people get pissed off about. Like here's one. Do you remember back when who was the Florida Panthers defenseman that like hit and pinned Elias Pettersson, and then Pettersson went down with like a concussion, and everybody was it Matheson? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think so.
That play happens literally 100 times a game, but like somebody fucking saw it and bitched about it and had a blue check mark, and then it just blew up. Like this is exactly what this is. Like this shit happens. Fucking move on.
It's funny. I just looked it up. Sometimes Canucks fans are crazy. They burn their city down. Panthers Matheson had death threats after a hit on Canucks Pettersson.
Yeah, that was like a fucking thing. I'm sure Lemieux probably has death threats from people down in Southie.
We don't care that much.
Oh, I'm sure Jack Edwards was fucking calling for fucking tar and feathering after that.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything else on it? I feel like
dude, I thought this was a really cool stat. After the Bruins last night 4-0 win against the Rangers, this was a couple days ago, Halak earned his 52nd career shutout, surpassing Tomas Vokoun for 5th place in historical ranking of most shutouts by European goalies. The first four belonged to Hasek, Lomqvist, Rene, and Nabokov. For a guy who I think has spent a majority of his career as a backup goalie, fucking right, Yaroslav Halak. If there's a Hall of Fame for backup goalies, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and he had a couple good years as a starter, but he was never consistently a starter. But I've loved him since he's come over. I love that he rocks a mohawk this year. Yeah. Also, just because we're talking Rangers Bruins, did you see those stats? He's like 26-5 and something against the Rangers. That's crazy because he played in that division like for a while.
For the Islanders, it was always a lot of fun playing when Halak was out there.
I don't know. That was crazy to me that like he has, I think, like 8 career shutouts against the Rangers. It's always funny when there's just that random ass goalie. Like I don't know if the Bruins have had one recently. It was Holtby forever, but like Holtby was elite, so it made sense.
No, for sure. I did want to mention that Artemi Panarin came back. There's a couple things I want to talk about with this. The first one is, I guess when David Quinn, like when they first got Panarin, he talked to Torts, and Torts said that Artemi Panarin was one of the greatest tired players that he's ever coached, in a sense that when he's tired, he can slow the pace down to where he wants to be, but he can also go to the pace that the game is actually at. I thought that was kind of a cool thing because, like, you see him do it, dude. Like when he has the puck, you're going at whatever speed he's going at. And I don't know. I just never really thought of that until I saw that, and I was like, holy fuck, that's true. It was nice having him back out there. He did look a little bit rusty. He hasn't skated in a while, but like he made a sick pass to Strome for a nice little tap in. Ryan Strome, by the way, dude, fucking ripping it up for the Rangers. Everybody said that he was a product of Panarin, which I think half is true, but like when Panarin was out of the lineup, Strome's maybe been one of our best forwards all year. I know at the beginning he fucking kind of came off to a slow start, but once he kind of fucking starts to get going, that's Ryan Strome. I'm trying to think what else happened. Oh, Vitali Kravtsov's coming over. He arrived in New York today. So he's in quarantine. Yeah, chirp all you want, but like our 9th overall pick is going to be playing for the Rangers this year. And what's kind of cool, dude, you're going to call me an idiot, whatever. I'm probably going to get a ton of shit for this. But like obviously we have Capo Caco, right? Like we have Alexi Lafreniere. Like you often forget about all these other prospects that the Rangers have who are supposed to be considered elite. And like this is one of them. Like this kid scored, I think he scored 40 goals in the KHL already. And I know it's not the NHL, but for a fucking prospect, that's pretty good shit. From what I've seen about him, he loves doing like a between the legs, like go around the defenseman. That's like his move. I wonder how long it's going to take for him to do that. And I don't know. I'm just really fucking excited about it. Like it's honestly like you forgot about it. Like when we first drafted him, like everybody was like, dude, we have this fucking guy. It's awesome. And then it's amazing what happens when you get the 2nd overall and the 1st overall. You just completely forget about that guy. So, and the Rangers waived Jack Johnson today to make room for him. So good shit.
Scores a goal and they waive him. That's fucked up.
And it's Jack Johnson, dude. Banana pancakes, bro.
Wasn't so he was drafted right after Wahlstrom or right before Wahlstrom? How did that work?
We picked Kravtsov when Wahlstrom was on the board because Wahlstrom wasn't supposed to be on the board, and like pretty much every Rangers fan, I remember texting Kevin Valenti like during it, like, holy shit, we're getting Wahlstrom, this is sick. And nobody had any idea they were going to pick this Russian. And as the Rangers were walking up on stage, Bob McKenzie gives you the Bob bomb when he's like, yeah, and I think the Rangers are going to go off the board here with Russian Vitali Kravtsov. Let's see who they pick. And of course they picked him, and it was like, what is going on right now? Like, Wahlstrom scored this many goals. He's a right-handed shot, fucking sick forward, like. But I don't know. We'll wait and see, dude. Who knows? Like, that's the cool thing about Russian prospects is, like, I feel like it's either they're really good or they're not. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really ever find a Russian carving out a third line role in the NHL.
True. I mean, you guys, there's one thing we know about the Rangers. They love Russians.
We love Russians, dude. Can I Brands? Shout out to these guys. I'm still using that fucking cream, dude. That's been helping me out. I think I'm going to dive back into the sleep stuff this week. I want to make sure I'm productive, so I'm going to be hammering that out later. You guys can go to canibrands.com and use promo code TMS25 to save 25% off your order. We talked about the Can I Sleep guarantee where, you have the spray, and if you're not cool with it, you send it back, you get your money back. It's a no-brainer. If you guys use CBD, I would check it out. I know a lot of people have already, which we appreciate all of our listeners doing that. It actually makes me feel like I'm kind of cool. And Hal, what do you have on it?
I re-upped on the sleep spray. That's my go-to. I think I said it last week on the pod. I noticed like a difference. So place the order. Craziest thing about it to me is I kind of live in the middle of nowhere. Their orders get to me in like 3 days.
They don't play games, dude.
0 games, great customer service, good product.
There it is, dude. Can I sleep? That's such a Dale thing to do. All right. Miss you, Dale. He's actually, we didn't even bring this up. Dale's in the middle of a playoff hockey game right now. So we'll see how that goes.
He's probably short shifting guys right now going every other.
Definitely, dude. I think the game was at 8. Oh, it's probably over. Has he texted us? Nope, he hasn't. That's probably not good. Yeah, Can I Branch? Check them out. One of our bloggers, he's been kind of crushing the game, dude. Brownie, Boston Bruins writer. Love his write-ups. Hal likes them, so that makes me know that he's good at his shit, because Hal would be like, this guy sucks if he sucks, so that's always good to hear. He's on a couple interviews. We're going to release one later this week, but he also did an interview, which we are about to get into, with Nick Carpenito, who's the associate head coach of Northeastern women's hockey, as they're about to take on Robert Morris tomorrow. Pretty cool interview, part 1. I think they're going to have another part at some point next week, but this is when I don't know. Here it is. Wow.
Happy Sunday, everyone. This is Brownie coming to you from the Subterranean Batcave, and I have the pleasure to be interviewing the associate head coach of the Northeastern women's hockey team, Nick Carpenito. What's up, buddy?
Nothing at all. I hope you don't mind the 1 year you put up with me back in the day. I'm not calling you Brownie. You're coach to me for now and forever. So something you're going to have to deal with moving forward with this interview.
Fair enough. Like I told you when we talked, it was weird referencing you as Nick. I'm like, no, he's Carp. I don't know who Nick is. So I coached Carp back in his senior year of high school. I coached him in lacrosse, and we had a fun time, I would say. One of my more interesting players to coach. We got along very well as an attackman and an offensive coach, and we can get into the pickle juice at a later date. We'll save that.
Works for me.
Now,
the post-tournament interview, we could tackle that.
Yeah, perfect. So you are out in beautiful Erie, PA, getting ready to take on Robert Morris tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, 2:00.
Yep, 2:00 game against Robert Morris.
The NCAA website has the times listed in Greenwich Mean Time, and it says 6:00. I was like, seriously? Like, help us out. Let us watch the girls play, please.
That's well above my pay grade, but
no, you don't want to say anything bad about the NCAA either. So you guys are coming in off a historic season. I mean, just what a wagon of a team. The number 1 seed in an 8-team field, taking on Robert Morris, who this is kind of a home game for them. They're 2 hours down the road. I don't know in Pennsylvania what the COVID regulations are. Are there going to be fans in the building?
So as of right now, the only thing I know is that they are giving teams a certain allotment. I think it's specifically for family and friends. I've heard rumblings about them offering stuff up to the public, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it's going to depend on how many of those tickets get scooped up for the teams and, whatever the percentage of players or of people they're allowing in the building during the game. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on. That's, again, something that's above my pay grade, even internally at Northeastern. So, I do know that there will be people in the building. It's just a matter of what the capacity limit that they're gonna place on this tournament is.
That was just a curious thing because I had no idea what Robert Morris University was, and I looked it up and I'm like, oh, it's a 2-hour car ride.
Yeah, they're not too far away. I mean, the host team for this tournament is Mercyhurst University, who's right here in Erie. I know Robert Morris and Mercyhurst. They're pretty big time rivals. They played each other in their conference tournament in the semifinals, and it was an overtime game for Robert Morris. So, I mean, we anticipate that it's going to have a pretty decent amount of Robert Morris fans in the stands, and I think that's one of the interesting things about this tournament this year, just given COVID and whatnot, is usually the first round game is at the higher seat, right, and then they'll play the Frozen Four at a neutral site. So, in a year of challenges, it's just another challenge we have to step up to, and we're ready for it. That's for sure.
Doesn't break you, makes you stronger. It's always the way. So I did as deep a dive as I could on Robert Morris. No common opponents, you guys. They came out of the College Hockey America tournament. Scouting. Film's available, I'm assuming, for you.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, each team swaps their last game. So, for pretty much every team in this tournament, except for one or two, I think two, it is the final game for their conference tournament. So we got their 1-0 game against Syracuse, and they got our 6-2 win over Providence, which was Hockey East Championship. So, that's what you get, and that's what you have to work with. And I mean, it's just protocol. It's how they do it at our tournament.
Have you done, or do you handle the scouting of the opponent? Is that one of in your wheelhouse?
It's definitely something I do quite a bit. Like I do a lot of the video here, but it's most of the time it's a pretty collective effort. So our assistant coach, Lindsay Berman, she runs our penalty kill, which has been absolutely outstanding this year. She's done a phenomenal job with it. So she'll do a lot of the special team stuff. And, even when you're watching special teams, you're still going to watch the game. And you're still going to kind of put your heads together to, make sure either myself, Coach Flint, Coach Berman's not missing something, and just kind of compile all the information and put it in a little 5-minute video for the team and show them what we got. And they're a good team, that's for sure. They're very, very disciplined defensively. They try to throw pucks out front and outnumber you if they can. They have a couple of really quality defensemen. One of them, number 5, Curlette. She's probably got one of the best shots in the NCAA in women's hockey, and she gets them through. And big, physical. I think for us, we got to depend on our speed. That's a big strength for us, and I think we might have them in that in that specific arena. So as long as we're doing a good job taking care of the puck and on both blue lines and preventing them from transitioning on us, I think we should be in a pretty good spot against them.
I actually have the stats that Curlette, she's got second highest shots on the season. She got 102 shots on net.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty
and
good.
It's not too shabby. Not too shabby. You know which goalie they're going with? I was looking at and it seems like the sophomore Reagan Kirk did the most of the starts throughout the season, but in the tournament they gave each goalie a game.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we're going to assume that we're probably playing her. She's been pretty strong for them. Their backup goaltender is also very good. So, I mean, at the end of the day, at this point, everybody's got good goaltending. Everybody's got good defense, So, the video that we were able to watch Kirk, and We figure since they put her in for a championship game, she's probably their big game goalie. So we're planning on running into her. And, if we don't, then just like everything else this year, we just got to adjust and hopefully still put pucks behind her.
It was just a weird thing that stood out to me that 3 games in the tournament, it was a different goalie each time. And I didn't know, and there was no mentions of injuries or, anything like that. So it was just a curious move.
Yeah, honestly, you see that a lot from a lot of teams this year. I think, realistically, every week you don't know what's going to happen, so like your starting goalie could catch, COVID, and, you need to have somebody that's got experience throughout the course of the year. And, it's not just for goaltenders, it's for, every
up and down the lineup.
Yeah. So, I think that there's a little bit more control in, who gets starts as far as goaltending goes. And, the fact that both of their goalies have that experience throughout the course of the year, I think is a big benefit for them. As, we gave our backup goaltender, Gwyneth Phillips, a few games this year. So, if anything happens, she's ready as well. But we're going to be rolling with Erin for sure. As I'm sure they know, she's played a bulk of our games, and she's an outstanding goaltender for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. We could spend 40 minutes talking about her, but I was looking at some of her stats, and I told you earlier, she might be the best women goaltender of all time. I mean, it's just insane. Her numbers stacked up against the guys' goalies this year. She'd lead all major categories in NCAA against the men or women.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing about her is she's not a big goalie. She's very athletic, but I think what separates her from the pack is her compete level. Like she hates to get scored on. She'll do anything she can to not get scored on. And with a drive like that and athleticism like she's got, I mean, it's a really tough puzzle to solve. And that's one of the things our head coach, Coach Flint, who primarily works with our goalies, look for when he recruits goaltenders is, the first thing is the compete level, and the second thing is how do they react after they get scored on? Like, are they going to hang their head and, stress out the rest of their team, or are they going to, understand that as a goalie, you're going to get scored on. It stinks, but you're going to get scored on, and, you're going to be able to bounce back from it. And she's someone that when she does let up a goal, which is, for us, fortunately this year hasn't been a ton, she bounces right back, and, she's ready for the next shot coming her way.
She one of those chill goalies, or does she get pissed when she gets scored on?
I think if you asked her, she'd tell you she's chill, and I think that she's a pretty relaxed goaltender. But I can assure you that she does not like to get scored on. And it's great because it doesn't matter what the setting is. It could be games, could be practice, and that's why she's so good in games, is because she brings that same compete level every time she's on the ice for practice as well, and it translates seamlessly for her.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to play goalie, but if you're in that, I think that's the right attitude to have.
Yeah, you always need at least one, right? I have no interest in it, but we have 3 kids on our team that do, and God bless them for that.
So, the other thing I was going to ask about the team and how you're preparing them. It's an odd start time, 2:00 on a Monday. I mean, you guys you mostly night games. You had some weekends, but mostly nights, right?
I mean, we had a pretty healthy mix of the afternoon games. Usually it was either 4:30 or 7:30. Again, if it was a normal season, this game would probably be played Friday or Saturday. Probably 7 or 4:30, somewhere in there, and then teams would come out here probably Tuesday for the Thursday Friday set, or the Saturday Sunday, whatever they used to do. So. I mean, again, it's just one of those things where a weird year, you gotta adapt to everything, and we've been fortunate where the last couple of days we've had practice times around 2, not quite 2, a little bit earlier, but they know what they need to do to be ready for these games, and at the end of the day, it's a national tournament. If you can't get up for this, then there's something a little bit deeper that's going on. But we're ready. We've had a couple great days of practice, and we're definitely really excited and ready to go.
Yeah, the other thing I noticed about in looking at Robert Morris, physical play.
Big time.
Big time physical play. I mean, they had there was a few majors in there.
Yeah.
In their stats.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're used to that. I mean, we're with the team speed that we have. I mean, the best way to slow down a fast team is to play physical with them, and we've run into that quite a bit. So, You see that in watching the video, and we address that with the team. And, as long as we keep moving our feet, and if they want to play physical on us, we just need to make sure that we're matching the intensity. But, if they're going to play physical on us, then they're probably going to take some penalties, which we're okay with. And, that's as long as we're moving our feet and not retaliating. But, we've run into it a lot this year, and I think that we're mentally and physically prepared for it for sure.
Nice. Yeah, it's just unusual to see that many majors from a women's club. I was taken aback by it when I was looking at their stats.
Yeah, it's interesting. With women's hockey, obviously there's no body checking, but it's physical. I think that's a common misconception. I'm not saying that you're saying that by any means, because I know you've seen it before, but it's definitely a common misconception that because there's no body checking in women's hockey, that's not a physical game. But in all honesty, some of the most physical games I've ever seen have been women's hockey games. And everybody's got their style. I think we have a little bit more of a speed style, but we're fortunate where we do have some pretty good size and some pretty good strength, and we can stand up to physical play whenever it comes our way.
I would think that most of the people that look at our site or listen to the podcast are beer leaguers at some level. And you and I have played together in pickups and beer leagues, and there's no checking, but you certainly feel it the next day. So these are all top-notch athletes in their 20s. It's it's a whole different deal,
Yeah, I think we probably feel it the next day just because we're old and out of shape, and not because we're getting our heads pounded into the ground throughout the course of this 45 minutes, whatever they have us playing. But I do feel it in the legs sometimes after I play. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So you're in your seventh year with NU, Northeastern. Yep. Your third as the associate head coach.
Yeah.
Biggest transition going to that level at the associate head coach that you had to adjust to.
We're an interesting staff because we do a lot of things by committee. I think I wouldn't, as far as being associate head coach, like our other assistant coach, Lindsay, she does the same amount of stuff as I do. We might just have different responsibilities, but I think it's more of a title than anything in the grand scheme of things. But I think that the transition wasn't really that tough for me because I'm doing most of the stuff that I did, as the assistant coach before I got, named associate head coach. And, maybe there's a couple little administrative things here and there that I have to do differently, but it's not a huge transition for me, which I think is good just because that's how this program's always been run. Like we do things by committee, and, so the transition was pretty seamless for me.
When do you head back out on the recruiting trail?
Well, so right now the NCAA is in what's called a dead period, and typically dead period, and typically with recruiting, the month of May is what's called a quiet period, and then there are a couple dead periods throughout the course of the year. And basically, a dead period is there's no in-person recruiting. And a quiet period, there's no off-campus recruiting. So pretty much since last March, I think it has been, because of COVID, we haven't been able to, it's been a dead period, right? So we haven't been able to recruit off-campus in almost a year, which is crazy. So as of right now, it's been extended to June 1st, I believe. So that would be the first time I can actually get off campus and go watch, assuming there's no extension.
No other
of it.
Shutdowns, right?
Yeah, but as of right now, that's it, and I'm chomping at the bit. I'm ready to go. Although it has been okay. I mean, this might sound a little selfish, but I had a daughter this past year, so I haven't been on the road as much as I can be, or as much as I normally am, because I've been obviously not allowed to. So when recruiting season picks back up, she's going to wonder where her dad is quite a bit more than she usually does.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Well, the beauty of technology, you can do this with her at night, when you're on the road.
For sure.
Enough. All right, so I want to leave it here because you're getting ready for the game tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully you guys take care of business and we can touch base throughout the tournament and then have a recap at the end. I'm just going to wish you the best of luck, Carp. I'm super proud of what you're doing. I think it's fantastic. The team's an absolute wagon. I'm not gonna ask for any predictions or anything like that. But if anyone's no, I know.
I'll give you my predictions on Saturday after the last game on Saturday. I'll tell you how we did.
Perfect. But what I will ask heading into the game, anyone to keep an eye on, any player that's popped off in practice, anyone looks like they got their legs, anyone looking like they've been sniping.
Yeah, I mean we have a few usual suspects. I think when that question comes up, obviously Frankel, our goaltender. She's someone that you got to keep an eye out for, and she was just named a finalist for the National Goalie of the Year award, which I think is well deserved for her for sure. So we have a forward, Elena Mueller from Switzerland. So on the men's side they have the Hobie Baker Award, which is basically like for lack of a better description, it's like the Heisman for men's hockey. On the women's hockey side, we have what's called the Patty Kazmaier Award.
Yep.
We actually have three finalists in the top 10 this year. One of them's Frankel, one of them's Elena Mueller from Switzerland, who's probably one of the most dynamic players you'll ever see. She's an unbelievable playmaker. She can bury pucks mid range. She's got unbelievable hands. Great skater too, and tons of skill. So that's someone I'd keep an eye on. The other Patty Kazmaier candidate is Skyler Fontaine, who's a defenseman. Very, very possibly one of the fastest skaters in the NCAA. She's got a great shot.
She had the empty netter in the PC game.
Yep, that was her. And you saw that game, you saw that goal, and I mean she was probably about half a zone away from the kid that she caught to beat for that foot race. But so she's unbelievable as well. And I think the craziest part about those three especially was they do a 3-player finalist pool for Hockey East Player of the Year, and this was the first time that I've ever heard that all three of our players, so those 3 players in Frankel, Fontaine, and Mueller, were the top 3 finalists for that same award, which was crazy. Yeah,
nice sweep, and makes it easy on the old recruiting too, I'm sure.
And then, number 12, Chloe Aurard, she's from France. She's on our first line as well. She's like one of the most skilled players I've ever seen, and beautiful skater as well, great playmaker. And someone I think you and I can relate to a little bit more, and someone that I think gets overlooked quite a bit is number 42 on our team, Tessa Ward. She's our third line center, and she contributes offensively, but her main strength is her defensive abilities, and she takes pucks off of every part of her body just to keep it off, to keep it away from our goaltender. And I think that she's an incredibly undervalued player that's always fun to watch, and someone that's also very, very physical, and especially going up against a team like Robert Morris, who has physical tendencies. She's someone that's going to really stir stuff up and make things difficult for them, just like they're trying to do to us.
I can't wait. I'm going to be watching with my daughter. She's super stoked when she sees the girls going by with the ponytail. She's like, those are girls. Super into it. So it's fantastic. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Absolutely. Hopefully we put on a good show for her.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Don't worry about her. All right. Well, let's sign off here, and we'll pick this back up, after sometime next week. I'll text you, and we'll figure something out.
Sounds good, Coach.
All right, bud. Thanks, Carp. I appreciate you doing this.
Of course. Anytime.
All right. Hang on.
All right. Thank you to Nick Carpenito for hopping on. Brownie, you're crushing it, dude. Keep it up. We kind of have like a fucking blog thing going on. Hal, have you seen that? Where like he writes a blog about how dog shit the Rangers are, and then I write an article about like how Adam Fox didn't have a 6'9" like legend helping him out, and he's figuring out the game at a faster pace than somebody who had. So I don't know if you saw that, but we've been going back and forth, me and him. It's kind of like a fun little thing. I'm surprised you haven't jumped in on it yet, but
well, that's first off, Bruins fans have a code, right? So I would never third man in on a fight. I think he's handling himself just fine. We're also kind of grudge guys. Like I have Disco over in my corner. If he wants to write to you, I'm all for it. I mean, I've been talking shit to you about the Rangers for a decade, so.
I get that. It's going to be bittersweet when Charlie McAvoy becomes a New York Ranger anyway.
Yeah, with Eichel. Yeah.
It's going to be fucking sick, dude. And you know what? What's kind of weird is like it probably won't happen, but there definitely is a small chance that it does. Like, would that be your worst nightmare? I mean, that'd be pretty bad. That'd be a bad day for you.
Yeah, I mean, the thing. How do I put this? because like you're selfish as a fan, and like if like the Bruins could win a cup with McAvoy first, and then he was like, I want to go home, I would probably be cool with it. But like if he just like leaves at free agency for like 15 million some year to go to the Rangers and play with like Jack Eichel, and that's pretty much it because they traded all their other prospects, and I'll probably be pretty sad about it.
We'll see, dude. But all right, so that's what we have here, and then I think we have one more segment, right? We're gonna do a little Dom Moore's heroes and zeros. I just gotta find there.
Hey fans, this is Dominic Moore. I'm just gonna take you guys through a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff here.
All right, heroes and zeros time. My hero of the week goes to Henrik Lundqvist, dude. I guess there's like a chance that he actually ends up playing this year. I think it's impressive what he's doing. McClellan said, I see the videos like you guys see the video. I don't know how likely or unlikely it is. I mean, he had valve replacement surgery. It would be pretty incredible if he was able to come back. I guess we'll see where he is at the end there. Probably unlikely, but I wouldn't rule it out. Be kind of cool if he was able to come back after that and like play a little bit this year. You know that, big Henrik Lundqvist guy. I wish that he could have won a cup in New York, but I don't know. I think that'd be pretty badass. That's my one hero, and then I also have another hero.
Hey, really quick, I was gonna say I didn't even know that was a possibility. I thought he was completely done. So that is cool. And we can just remind people too. Dale's hero of the week a couple weeks back when he said the Rangers should have made Lundqvist the captain. People don't forget that. That was tough. And from a Capitals perspective, you have to be pumped because I know it's like end of the road Lundqvist kind of, but maybe he's got rest. Like Samsonov hasn't been great. And like Vanacek, like I'm not sold on Vanacek. There's something about him. It's just one of those goalies that has weird equipment. Like I feel like if you're a Caps fan, you embrace this.
I mean, Henrik Lundqvist, if you look at his playoff stats, they're next level good. I mean, obviously he hasn't won a cup, but like his goals against and shit like that, and like his record in game sevens, that's somebody you want on your team. I have one other hero. Torts is just going to be Torts, dude. Apparently Patrick Laine was playing a pretty decent game, and then he got scratched for third period and overtime. Patrick Laine on his lack of ice time in the third period and overtime, I thought I was playing good, but I guess I thought wrong. Torts is going to Torts. Laine is going to Laine. This is going to be a battle back and forth. I keep seeing like reports like where people think that Tortorella is actually trying to be fired by doing the shit that he's trying to do.
I think it's the last year in his contract, though. So like I don't think they're going to fire him. Like, COVID, like no one wants to spend money. Like I think he's gonna ride it out. So maybe this is just like him like being like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna do what I want for this last year.
Bro, it'd be pretty funny if Torts was trying to get fired. Like if he was like Michael Scott walking around with a whiskey and sugar and like a cup, just fucked up all the time and just doing random weird shit. I would love that. That was my hero. And then I'm just gonna finish off my zero too, the New Jersey Devils. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know how to pronounce this kid's name. Yanni Kokkonen. I don't know. They fucking spelled his name wrong on his jersey.
Well, it's tough. It's tough to make fun of him for spelling the name wrong when you can barely even read it, and I can't either. It's a tough name. But you're right. I mean, spell check it.
Yeah, bro. Like you have a fucking press release. Like you can look him up on HockeyDB. There's easy ways to figure out how to spell this kid's name, or you could just ask him.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do if you're the guy making jerseys? You're gonna slide into the locker and be like, "Hey, bro, can you write your name down on a piece of paper?"
Did that guy get fired?
Probably not, right? Like I don't know. I guess that's probably if you're the guy who stitches the NHL jerseys. I guess
that's your job, dude. Your job is to have that not happen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but it's not like the player couldn't perform. It was just like a typo.
I guess, dude. I don't know. I feel like you have one job, and like it's probably hard stitching jerseys, like no doubt about it. But like, I mean, that's definitely their worst nightmare. You're supposed to spell something right, and you spelled it wrong. And you had it right in front of him? I don't know.
You know what? I think it was a week or two ago. It was Employee Appreciation Day in America. So I just want to let that guy know, like, you're doing a great job. Keep selling those jerseys. We have your back.
Love that day.
My hero of the week will go. I just thought this was a good one. Daryl Sutter's first practice with the Flames, and he bag skated him 30 minutes into practice. I like that move. I don't think Daryl Sutter's obviously the answer there, but maybe he gets the boys going. It always seems like Calgary just has an issue, right? Arguably the biggest wildcard team in the league. Lucic, who played for him under the Kings, and actually that's literally right before he fell apart with the Oilers and got that huge contract. Lucic played great for Sutter, and I don't know if you noticed, he had 2 big fights last week. I think he fought Nurse, and then Josh Anderson, he fed him too. So great to see Lucic back, and I think sometimes you just need to bag skate your players and have them do some sprints in the middle of practice, get them to fight.
back to the basics, right, dude? Like,
yeah. Like I don't
they've
know.
been there before. I
So
love how, dude, not a little over a half hour into him being a head coach on the fucking line. I mean, that's whipping your dick out.
Yeah, no, I love that. Let the boys know that you're here, and like they had to expect it. Like I feel like if you're Milan Lucic, when guys are like, "What the fuck's going on?" He's probably like, "This is it. Like this is it, boys." You
I
know?
told you guys.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm happy that Daryl Sutter stuck to his guns there. Zero of the week's John Scott. We were talking a lot with Fever Boy Rex last night about John Scott's podcast, and I just wanted to bring this up because I saw this clip on social kind of going around. John Scott basically in reference to like how big of a homer Jack Edwards was, and like how when Scott referenced when he would fight Sean Thornton, Edwards would act like Thornton was kicking his ass when he wasn't, and he said, if I played in Boston, that guy would be buying me breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. It's like, one, relax, John Scott. Like, you weren't that sweet. I don't care what anybody says. He was 6'8", and he was a giant ogre, but like Bugard was a sweet, huge fighter. Peter Worrell, Scott Parker, those were cool, huge ass fighters. John Scott was never that tough. Like, he was, but like ultimately John Scott's career is he fought a little bit. He tried to bully Phil Kessel, and Phil Kessel took his stick like an axe and swung it at him. He ruined Louis Erickson's career, arguably, and he got a charity vote to go to the All-Star game. So, like,
Louis Erickson.
He like direct headshot, and then McQuaid tried to fight him. It was a big thing.
I would agree that if we're breaking down enforcers in the NHL,
he was never that cool.
There was never like, oh, he's gonna fight John Scott, and like if it was me, I would be scared. But
you know, our hockey
I would never be like, oh god, he's fighting. Like I was never like scared.
Yeah,
or like if it was Bugard, it'd be like, oh my god, like
no, exactly. And like I was thinking about like our hockey fights guy, Southpaw. He used to always do those like enforcer brackets. I don't think John Scott's ever really invited to that. I just think John Scott thinks he's super important. And also, I don't know if you noticed, this came out like 2 days before. I think Ryan Whitney was kind of making fun of Jack Edwards on Spit and Chicklets. And it's like, don't, like, when Ryan Whitney did it, it was funny. It's like, you don't need to try to like get involved too. Like, fucking chill out, John Scott. Maybe mix in a swear word and like get out of my face.
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure if I met him, he's probably a nice guy. But like,
I'm probably burning bridges right now. But I just think I need to stay true to my colors because when
you've
he
always
was
been
in the league,
yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the. If we were to have a biography for Hal, like not a John Scott guy.
No, those Sharks teams, really. I was pretty heavy against Brett Burns for a while, too. It was something about the iguanas.
Something like that, bro. But, oh, man, this is almost an hour and a half podcast. But that was the episode of Morning Skate. Thank you for tuning in. Hal, do you have anything else for our fans at home?
That's it. Hopefully Dale comes back firing next week.
Did he text us?
No. I tried to get an update for the fans on Dale's playoff game. No updates. I'm assuming that's an L.
The game was at 8 and it's 9:50. So should be
yeah.
right.
And what do they play? They play like 169-minute period.
Yeah, running time. Fucking A, man. All right, that was this episode. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Again, Can I Brands TMS25. That's the promo code. Check it out. We're gonna have podcasts all week, and we're gonna figure some shit out. So, thanks, Al, and we will talk to you guys later.